our captains will be the same four guys. We got Jay Higgins, Quinn Schulte. On the defensive side, we got Luke Lachey and Cade McNamara offensively. Injury-wise, share this with you. Cade will not be playing. He's not going to be able to make it, so he's out. Reese Vanderzee will not make it. Ostranka, Nestor will continue to be out, and we'll see on those guys. Those guys will probably be through the bye, I'm guessing. And then, on the positive side, Fish was able to come back. He was fine yesterday, a little bit weak, but doing fine practice today. And then Bo Stevens worked today, and I think he's got a chance to play if he can get through the week. So we'll see what that looks like and go from there. And then, going back to Cade, he took a really tough shot there in the second quarter, and he's still feeling that. So unfortunately, he's going to be out. Just feel badly for him because it's been a tough stretch, really for about 2.5 years here. And I've said it before, and you guys have heard me say it a million times. The worst thing about coaching is dealing with that. Injuries, it's something nobody wants to deal with, and certainly he's had his tough share of bad luck here. So feel bad about that, but hopefully we'll get him back soon, get him back on his feet. Going to shift into Brendan, I thought he did a really good job out there, played with the boys, was productive, and he's practicing well so far this week, so off to a good start. And we're going to need each and every guy to be doing that because we play a tough opponent, Wisconsin. Rivalry game, Heartland Trophy, and it's been a series that's been back and forth. And one thing that's been consistent, they're always good. They're big, they're athletic. Once again, and second year for Coach Fickle and his staff, so they've truly settled in. They look good, and they're playing really good football. Had a very impressive 3-game stretch there prior to Saturday's game, and then play a top 5 opponent and played them right to the basically right to the end there. So tough opponent, and we're going to have to be at our best to have a chance to be competitive. It should be a good environment. Obviously, a night game in Kenny, something to get excited about, and we need to be at our best, certainly, to have a chance in this ball game. And then last but not least, honorary captain kids captain this week is Hunter Mickelson. And if that name sounds familiar, John played here for us 20 plus years ago. He and his wife Brooke are parents of Hunter and 3 other boys, so a family of 4. And Hunter was born with a rare kidney disorder that really affected him when he was a newborn. Initially, they thought he was just colicky, upset baby, but bottom line is what they did, they diagnosed it, and it's called nephrogenic, stick with me on this one, diabetes insipidus, and I guess it afflicts 1 out of every 2.3 million people, so it's a very rare thing. Good thing is they've learned how to manage it. He's doing great. He's a 9-year-old, doing really, really well, so it'll be great to have him with us on Saturday, and I'll throw it out for questions.
John Steffi, you're at Cincinnati. Hi, Kirk. You were saying really tough shot for Cade McNamara. Does that mean that's a head injury, and are you able to comment at all on kind of the severity of it?
Yeah, well, it's a concussion. Yeah, so he's been ruled out. Hasn't been able to phase back in the ball yet, so that's number one. But he's sore in other places too. Hit the turf pretty hard. So it's just part of playing that position. It's a tough position to play. As far as the severity and all that, my experience, and I'm certainly not qualified medically other than I listen to a lot of things and watch. Seems like each and every one is a different discussion. So, with some luck, hopefully he'll start turning the corner. I think he's going to go to class today and, give that a try. Hopefully he'll be back here soon. Hopefully next week. We'll see.
Hey, Kirk. Elliot Clough, Hawkeye Beacon. I wanted to ask a little bit about Brendan and his journey. Getting here in June and now being named your starter. I guess, what stood out to you personality-wise when he was in the portal? And he seems like a quiet guy, but also like beloved by the team and a fiery guy on Saturday. I guess, what are your thoughts on his growth, personality-wise, also as a football player, getting here in June and now being your starter?
Sure. So, we were doing the evaluations. I guess it would have been fairly late spring, and you watch his tape, and there are some really good things. And I recall, us getting ready for Northwestern. Ironically, a year ago, they played Maryland the week before. And I find ways to really get over nervous about games, and that was part of that. Maryland, I thought it was a really good game. Both teams were going back and forth in that game. And Brendan did a nice job really moving their team and was in a real good rhythm. Their team was in a rhythm. It was a really good football game, so, you know, I vaguely remembered that. Obviously didn't know we were going to be looking at him in that, a different vein, you know, back, whatever it would have been, April or May. But that game really stood out. He had others where it was okay, you know, but that type of thing, it was kind of up and down a little bit with the team and with his performance. But when we got to meet him, he was very, very impressive. And I think probably the most important thing kind of answers your question, at least from my perspective, when he got here in June. One thing I'm really impressed with is the fact that he got here that late and was able to learn, has been able to learn as quickly as he did. That's part of the benefit of being an older guy too. He's a smart guy. But he just works hard. You know, you go watch the guys in the summer program and he's leading the group in sprints, those types of things. And basically anything you're doing, he's going full speed and really getting after it and doing a great job. And to your point, not overly boisterous, but just, you know, he's a guy who commands respect through performance. And I think, you know, it seems very apparent that players really like him. They support him. Obviously, same thing with Cade. You know, he's a captain. And so, you know, you got two guys there that are really working at it and doing a good job there. But yeah, and he got his opportunity, you know, bigger opportunity Saturday and did a really good job with it. But every week's an adventure, just like all of our guys, just like all of us. But yeah, I'm confident he'll do a great job.
Adam Jacoby, Hawkeye Beacon. Looked like a bounce-back day for the secondary against Northwestern, especially after their Michigan State performance. What was it like to have Deshaun Lee back in the starting lineup and really see the unit be as productive as they usually are?
Yeah, you know, I said after that game, the bad game, that, you know, hopefully it was uncharacteristic, but, you know, it's talk. You got to go out and prove it. And based on this past Saturday, maybe we'll be able to look back and say it is uncharacteristic. But yeah, we looked a lot better. We just looked like a team that maybe practiced and was doing things a lot more fundamentally sound. And we're gonna have a hard time against anybody if we don't tackle well. And I'm not discarding what Michigan State did. They played really well. But it's our job to try to match tempo. And, you know, if the guy's got a ball, you got to tackle him somehow. So, yeah, I'm encouraged, certainly, and it was good. It felt more like us out there on the field. Our tempo was better. Thought everybody was, you know, where they should have been. And, you know, didn't see a lot of guys reach and are on the ground. Those kinds of things, which are really a bad sign defensively.
David Eichel, HawkeyeInsider.com. Kirk, kind of a two-part question, but it seems like no matter what happens, Wisconsin always finds a way to run the football and just find really, really outstanding running backs. What have you kind of seen from, you know, Tawee Walker this year? And then as far as the rivalry goes, what separates Iowa and Wisconsin from maybe some other Big Ten rivalries? Because it does seem like it's one of the more physical Big Ten games in any season.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I go way back. When I got here, I remember we knocked them out of the Rose Bowl actually in '81. I remember that. It was a tough game. I can't tell you who the quarterback was the other year. I remember for that game, they had run a bounce pass. You know, the quarterback throws it off the turf to the receiver, catches it behind the line, and trucks it down there. We must have practiced it 30 times, and they hit it for a touchdown against us. So, you know, practice doesn't always make perfect. I'll never forget that. And it's a hard play to defend. It's just, you know, everybody wants to come forward for obvious reasons. But, you know, and then it was interesting, you know, when that thing tailed off there in the late 80s, before I left here, their program had really gone to a place that, you know, I don't think anybody would have envisioned. And then, you know, Barry was hired same year. I guess, well, not same year. Came, gosh, what year was he here? That would have been, yeah, 90 when he got there, right? Yeah, it would have been 90. So, and up they went, you know, just, and since I got back here in 99, they've been nothing but strong. And just very, very impressive in all regards. But, you know, they're a lot of like, they have more population, I guess, but a lot of in-state players on both teams. And, you know, I think Barry and I had some similarities philosophically about what it should look like, that type of deal. He certainly did it to a really high level, Rose Bowl victories. And when we got here in 99, they were the ones we were looking at. And the only good thing about us going up there in 99 and getting beaten, for them to clinch the Rose Bowl, gave us an exposure to all the people in our organization, myself included. Hey, this is what it looks like. This is where you got to try to get. And so it kind of set the bar for us. But, you know, they've been a good football team as long as I can remember. And it's always a tough contest. It's typically going to be a physical contest, good defenses, and hopefully both teams, you know, are trying to run the ball a little bit and that type of thing. And they're doing a really nice job.
Hi, Kirk. Jack Litter with KCRG. In looked like Kirk took that shot on the 3rd and 10. That was a rough passer. Why did you feel like he was able to go back out onto the field? And at what point did you decide we need to pull him because of the possible head injury?
I mean, yeah, he wasn't feeling great, but it wasn't like he was, incoherent by any stretch. But we had, as I said Saturday, we had already planned a rotation going into the game. It just so happens that was the time, coincidentally, if you will. And we were going to do that regardless, unless it was ball. The ball was like on the 1-inch line. We had 99 plus to go. Not fair to throw a guy in there cold doing that. But, it wasn't like any symptoms really present himself other than he was, sore and shook up, certainly. But then, at halftime they diagnosed it and, held him out. Not much sure when they diagnosed the concussion actually, but, he just wasn't fit to play at halftime.
Kirk, Tom Kaker, the Hawkeye Report, with Bo potentially coming back, do you see a rotation there to continue at that position with either Ellsbury or Cade McNamara?
Yeah, it's possible. We really haven't talked about it. We'll have to get through the week to make sure Bo is going to be back, and then we'll worry about that. That's easy. But today, all three of them were playing at that position, both first, second team. So we had, however many snaps, 10 or 12, to divide up with three guys. And we'll try to just ease him back. I don't think he's ready to play the full game, conditioning-wise. But he's a really good football player and playing very well, so it'd be nice to get him back into the mix, that's for sure.